swear these other podcasts are just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. I swear these other podcasts are just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. Yeah.
Nick, in 2020, I will be much more charitable with my time. Change my mind.
So what do you mean by that? Charitable with time? Like you're going to help more people out?
Giving. Yeah, I'll be giving.
There are a lot of ways that you can give to
I don't know
people,
why you had such a shit-eating grin when you said that, by the way.
I didn't know what you meant by it. Because it just...
You knew damn well what it meant.
I mean, you could be giving by, helping your wife out around the house more. You could be giving by, I don't know, giving back to the community.
It's all on the table.
Okay. I
don't want to discriminate on who I'm charitable with.
I would say you will be more charitable with your time. If you're already thinking about it, then you definitely will be.
So you're not changing my mind on this.
Oh, wait a minute. Well,
right,
you know what?
yes.
Okay, you know what?
That's how it works.
Here's my
episode 47. We're getting it down.
Here's my counterpoint to that. Counterpoint to what I just said. You want to go and train for a triathlon, albeit a speed triathlon.
Thank you. I wanted to share that on my own time, but thank you for blowing that up for me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
really holding me to it now.
I am starting off the show real hot today.
Yes.
But you're going to do that apparently.
Yeah, I'm going to.
And you, I don't know how you're going to be charitable with your time when you're trying to train for that. So you're going to be as selfish as ever.
No, okay. I like that, actually. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All about me in 2020.
There you go.
That's it.
The year of Wes.
I love that.
Yeah.
The year of the rat.
You asked me to change your mind. Wow, that was easy.
That was pretty good. Welcome back. Episode 47 of the Change My Mind podcast. I am Wesley Sykes. Across the table from me is the champagne toast to my New Year's kiss, Nick Fryer.
Huh.
Two things that go hand in hand on the New Year.
Yeah, I'm used to you occasionally complimenting me, more so insulting me with those things.
Usually it's insults, but I want to keep you on your toes.
This one was kind of neutral.
Maybe this kind of goes into me being more charitable this year.
Oh, that would work.
Charitable with my words.
I think that that's it. I think I will say, though, I would take the New Year's kiss over the champagne toast. I'm not a big champagne guy.
Right, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would take the New Year's kiss over the champagne toast.
I don't know. There are probably some people in this world who wouldn't.
Well, that's
and some people
unfortunate.
Think cucumber's a better pickle, right?
Yeah, that's it right there.
So
yeah.
they say.
It's moving a little bit slow there. But it is the new year. I know we're 6 days into it or so, 5 days into it.
You were right first time.
We're back on the live stream. Of course, it's WBSM 1420 AM's YouTube channel. And we're going to be looking through everything over the last 10 years. We're going to call it our Best of Decade in Review Spectacular Bonanza Extravaganza.
We're really committing to that now, aren't we?
It's a working title.
It's
a working title.
Okay. I was going to say we could do it again like we did on the Christmas special. But
right. Well, yeah.
Or holiday special.
I'm just a big fan of Bonanza Extravaganza.
Okay.
I have it tattooed on my body somewhere. I'm going to let you guess where.
I don't think I want to know.
Well,
I know it's not across your chest.
No, it's not.
I
don't have the chest for tattoos.
You don't have the anything for tattoos.
Well, okay, that's fair enough. That's why I don't have
one. Anybody can have a tattoo.
Although you have not seen the small of my back yet, so I think that's a prime spot.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I'm just trying to think. We've played basketball. If we've done shirts and skins, I can't recall.
No.
But anyway, we got a lot of you made quite a few categories for us today, and are we gonna do now? You wrote top 5 on the top of our Google Docs.
Yes.
And then I think the first one you had like 8.
Yes.
So
yeah, all of them have 10 or 12 or 8 or so.
Okay.
But, I have a cross off, and then the bottom half is like my honorable mentions.
Okay, gotcha. Because I when you did that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever I think is best, and then...
Yeah, whatever you feel like, and then we can just chop it up however we like. Now is usually the time where I'll bring in our resident guy in the chair, Tim Weisberg. We haven't heard from him yet.
No, we haven't, and that's with good reason because I didn't have his mic on.
Yes, it's true. Tim, how are you? You're scouring away over there on your laptop.
I'm doing well. Just tweeting everything out, trying to get everybody out there that's listening to get interactive with the show.
That is why you are the number 1 resident guy in the chair.
Without a doubt.
But this is such a jam-packed show, looking back over the last 10 years of movies and television and streaming, that we're not going to have any news. There's no comic book minute.
Nope.
None of that bells and whistles. We're just getting right to the meat and potatoes of the show here today.
Okay.
So let's get right into it. Well, let's start with the comedies.
Okay.
That's the first one I have on the list. I feel like that's an appropriate place to start.
It is, but I wanted to give you the first choice. I was
you. I
surprised
appreciate
that was the
that.
first one that you wanted to go with, too, was the comedies of all things.
It was really the first thing that just came to my mind. I just kind of wrote to it, and then I decided not to change it.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go. Why not?
That's it right there. So I'll hand it off to you. How's that? Do you want to start with your top 5
Sure.
of the decade?
So, so now I was surprised when I was making this list. Like, there's not a ton of good comedies because wasn't there Get Hard? Didn't that come out this past decade with Will Ferrell?
Oh,
and
I didn't
Kevin?
think about that. I did like that one.
I
don't
like
know if
that one.
I thought that was a pretty funny movie.
I wasn't a big fan. I'll say the biggest disappointment, that one, and then Anchorman 2, right up there for biggest disappointment of the decade.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievably so. Anchorman was,
Number 5
bad.
for me, I have Bridesmaids, which came out in 2011.
Yes.
Then I have number 4 is This Is the End, came out in 2013.
Love that.
Number 3, Jumanji, 2017.
Now, I feel like I remember you telling me that did you see this in theaters?
I saw both of them in theaters.
Did you really?
I saw the second one too. Yeah, I thought the second one was really funny too. I didn't want to put both of them on the list for this. I mean, they were both kind of similar humor, but I thought the first one was the original. They executed it. So with Jack Black,
it was a good movie. I was surprised. I was very skeptical going into that.
Same.
And but Jack Black, Kevin Hart, The Rock, that's really a trifecta that you can't really screw up.
And then Karen Gillian, who knew she looked amazing without blue eyes.
I know. I didn't recognize her actually. It took me a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I was a little late to the game on that one.
Yeah, that one. I mean, even still, when I look at her as Nebula, I'm like, that's not the same girl, is it? There's no way. But it is. Number 2, I have Pitch Perfect, the original. I think I didn't see the third one yet, which I don't know why.
You don't have to.
Not good?
No, it's good, but it's not what the first 2 were.
Okay. 2 is funny, but again, this is just kind of like that's the original one, and I just want to give that one the advantage over the first one. And then I have Ted as my number 1 from the past decade. Both Pitch Perfect and Ted came out in 2012.
Oh, okay. And now why Ted?
Because, first of all, I was in Chicago. It's a Massachusetts movie.
Reminded you of home?
Yes, reminded me of home.
I see.
Everybody gushed over it and wanted to make the jokes and stuff. And I mean, it was an original idea.
Mm-hmm.
And, the laughs, the quotes, everything. It had it all. I mean, the Flash Gordon stuff. I mean, that influenced me in my junior year to have my walkout song on the mound be the Flash Gordon theme song.
That's fantastic, actually.
And that was also my worst year, I think, ever of baseball, at least of college ball. Summer ball was great. But yeah, I was like, never again with the Flash Gordon nonsense.
Well, then I don't know why that's number 1 then. You would think that would have the reverse effect.
But when I look at it now, it's like, you were such a dumbass. You walked out to friggin' Flash Gordon.
No, man, that takes balls. I respect that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
What's your top 5?
Okay, so my top 5, we have some crossover here. I have This Is the End 2013. Big Seth Rogen, James Franco, that whole type of group. And this is them kind of just being the characters that we all think they are. So I kind of love that little play on the mind, a little mind trick, if you will.
Yeah,
Jedi mind trick, maybe?
Yeah, ooh.
No, probably
yes,
not.
no, you pulled one on me at the beginning of the show.
I don't know if I remember that, actually.
That was when you the On My Mind, the Change My Mind portion, the very opening thing you say at the...
No, I don't recall.
You used a mind trick on me. That's why I got all screwed up.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see you trying to make a funny.
I'm trying to make up for the fact that I screwed up at the start of the show.
No.
Anyways.
Number 4.
But really.
Hot Tub Time Machine came out in 2010. This was much like you, very formative in my just post-college career. We didn't have cable in our household, but we had a few DVDs, and this was one that was always seeming to be playing. So
really?
Rob Corddry's great in it. It's just, you got Craig Robinson in there.
Right.
It's great stuff. I love it.
Is Rob Corddry the bald guy?
Yes.
Okay. He's
really the star of the show. And then you have Plop from The Office, which, of course, you haven't seen, so you want to get that reference. But anyway, number 3, 21 Jump Street. Again, you get Channing Tatum, you get Jonah Hill, big Jonah Hill fan. These two guys just kind of being funny together.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Held up for me.
I think that's fine. When I saw both of these, I get the hot tub, it's formative for you and everything, but 21 Jump Street, I don't know. I never thought it was that funny.
Oh, no, I love and the rewatchability is high. It's on TNT. It's on TBS all the time.
See, there's another one that
Same
you
thing
have
with
on
22 Jump Street.
There's one you have on your list that is a couple notches down, or there's actually 2 of them that, and I don't want to steal your thunder again, but I can see how those would make your list. They're not on mine, but I can see how anybody could. I don't know. 21 Jump Street just doesn't do it for me.
Oh, I really enjoyed that one. And number 2, a little crossover again, Bridesmaids. Again, rewatchability through the roof on that. Very funny ensemble comedy.
Definitely.
And then number 1, wouldn't really think of it as a comedy traditionally, but I just rewatched it recently and I thought it was hysterical. The Wolf of Wall Street. Again, rewatchability, very big for me. Through the roof, even though it's a long movie. Likability of all the characters, even though they're all like
Scumbags.
horrible scumbags. Yeah. Very funny movie.
Now, the only reason that's not on my list is not because I don't find it funny. I still have yet to see that. And I think I've learned in not having seen that, not having seen, what was the other movie? You have it written down here. Inception. I think I'm just I'm not a Leo guy. I'm really not. I mean,
oh, wow.
I mean, I don't.
See, he comes up a little bit later about who won the decade.
I don't outwardly hate him, but I just like even when we talk about when we did a review on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm all about Brad Pitt. You were too, but you gave Leo his due, and I don't know. There's something about him that I'm reluctant. Right? I don't know. I think it goes back to The Departed.
Now, okay, so just to go back, obviously the Golden Globes were last night, and when we did our Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think that was its own episode, and we were discussing who is the main character, whether it's Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Brad Pitt.
Right.
Johnny Depp wasn't in that movie.
He was not.
No,
I can see you make that mistake though.
But according to the Golden Globes, Brad Pitt was the supporting actor, and Leonardo DiCaprio was the lead.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Which is interesting, because I would have said it would have been the other way around with the way how it ended.
Yeah. No, the way how it ended, I guess you could see. I don't remember. I thought.
And the whole movie was about him. Like, he was kind of the glue of the whole movie.
I felt like Leo was the main character, but Brad Pitt he stole the show.
Right.
Kind of like similar to Daphne Keane in Logan.
Okay.
Which comes up later in this episode.
Yes,
which
yes,
I have a bone to pick with you on where you have that movie.
Yeah, I made a last-minute change, too. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so you'll be even more upset. Just a couple that didn't make the list.
No.
I had Pitch Perfect 2, number 6 for me. Really like the sequel because you get the German aspect in there. You get David Cross in there. A little bit more Adam Devine, too, which I'm a big fan of. Ted, as you mentioned. MacGruber at number 8. Neighbors at number 9. Blockers at number 10. Blockers, very sneaky, very funny movie for a recent release where there hasn't been a lot of big comedies coming out. I enjoyed that one. John Cena.
Yeah. You say he did it all right in it?
Yeah, I thought he was pretty funny.
That's
There's a funny enema scene. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. The MacGruber and Neighbors were the ones that I said I could see those being in the top 5 for anybody. Or for top 10 for anybody. I like them, but they don't quite do it for me. Also, one important note for everybody. Deadpool's not on my list. But Deadpool could easily be on that list for me, my top 5.
Right.
But we have that. We're doing one movie per category, essentially, right?
Yeah. And I had Deadpool on there in my first draft. I had Thor Ragnarok on there as well.
Yeah,
and I thought there was so many opportunities where I could have put a Marvel movie, whether it's action movie, comedy, superhero.
Yeah.
I think we have an animated category in there as well.
Yes.
Very easy where they could have just kind of run the gamut and swept everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to diversify.
Right, exactly. Before moving on, Tim, do you have a famous favorite comedy movie of the decade?
I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. On this one. So
well, we appreciate this as a show about opinions that you.
We have a limited time window, so I don't want to drag it down.
Well, yeah, maybe just give me one of your favorites that come to your mind.
What's your? Do you have a top one?
See,
too?
I'm not.
By not answering, you're actually dragging out more time.
I don't like a lot of the ones that you guys seem to like.
Yeah. Okay.
Then what is?
I don't know if there's really been a good. I did like Blockers. That was very well done.
Underratedly.
I'd like to see that be kind of the future of comedy.
Yeah.
Especially the gross out comedies.
I gotta give this a watch, man.
It's funny.
This is my way of trying to bow out of the fact that I just didn't find any movies funny.
It was tough. It's either very early in the decade that I found some, and then a couple of later ones, but most of them come, in the first 5 years of the decade.
If it's not a Marvel movie, I mean, it had to come out in 2012 pretty much, right? Isn't that the deal? I mean, Ted was 2012, Jump Street, Pitch Perfect. Wolf of Wall Street's right around there. Bridesmaids is 2011.
Yeah.
Jump Street was in this decade?
Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I
Say
remember
thank
seeing
you. It was a good movie. Okay.
Hot
All right.
to-
Well, go back to your corner. We'll call you back. if
Going
we
back
need
to
you.
my corner.
We're
Thank
going to be
you.
doing best action movies of the decade next, Tim, so just be
Talk
ready
to me.
for that.
Talk to me if you get to horror movies.
We didn't do horror movies.
Good, because I would say they all sucked.
Oh,
Okay, perfect.
wow.
Well, you got the definitive opinion there.
Yeah, there we go. Best action movies of the decade. You want to start this one?
Yes, I will. Okay, once again, I have 10 choices for a top 5. Mm-hmm. But starting with number 5, Inception, the aforementioned Inception, which is now streaming on Netflix. So if you want to do want to get caught up on that. Number 4, Kingsman: The Secret Service. Again, a very fun, interesting take on a spy movie.
Yeah.
I had a really fun time with that. Number 3, Baby Driver, that came out in 2017. Again, I'm a sucker for a heist movie, which will come up again in number 2 in Den of Thieves. That came out in 2018. Very bad. You could tell that it's taken from a lot of other different heist and action and crime movies, but it's just very much fun throughout.
Do you know who's in? Do you remember who's in that? Because
Gerard Butler is the stars in that, and I want to say there's a couple other people. He's the main actor in that.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's almost one of those like straight to DVD type of action movies.
Really?
But it's just like fun and cheesy and corny. It's a good time.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then of course number 1, John Wick Chapter 2. Really enjoyed that one because there's a great scene where he's in the nightclub and there's this really low techno music and everything's all kind of silhouette and you kind of see him moving through the structure of the house and it's just unbelievable.
That was the scene where he kills the sister, right? Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Okay. That was where
I think it's when he's leaving.
Yeah, when he's leaving, and he had to deal with Common like right after that. That's where he
right.
Yeah, that was a weird death. So I know I said that I could have put like Pitch Perfect 2 in my last list. I would never have put Ted 2 on my comedy list. That one was a disappointment.
We got a rise from the peanut gallery over here.
What?
You know that diner that they visit in Ted 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
I worked there for 17 years.
Did you really?
Mill Pond Diner.
Mill Pond Diner in Wareham.
Beautiful.
I did not know that
They
happened.
picked the absolute worst booth to sit in with the duct tape behind Mark Wahlberg.
Well, it adds character.
Place is a dump.
Is that deliberate?
That they picked the dumpiest booth, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible place. Don't ever go there.
Did you? And you didn't like that movie? I'm assuming. Ted 2.
I did not.
Okay.
Wareham's slowly becoming Hollywood East.
Better,
Oh.
Dare I say?
better Seth MacFarlane comedy for the decade was A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Well, that was funny. I never saw it.
Better than Ted 2.
Yeah. It
Oh,
was.
better than Ted 2.
But that's not saying much.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I know that I just said that about Jumanji. I said that about Pitch Perfect. But on my list, I have all 3 John Wick movies.
Yes, and I could have very easily done that as well. Like, in fact, you might have seen in my first draft, I had them all in like 2, 3, 4 for me. But but at any rate, I decided to kind of diversify.
So I have extras though, so we'll go over those and get an idea. But right now I have the first John Wick, then the second John Wick as 5-4. Then I have Kingsman, which I took way too long to see. I still haven't seen the second one.
Right, you saw it recently, right?
Oh, that was so good, Wes. That was unbelievably visually stunning, and the story was awesome. I mean, yes, there are some things that I guess, what would the snotty people say? Derivative, I guess?
Derivative, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still fun. Like, they made it different with the way that it was shot.
It's poking fun almost at that derivativeness. Like, I think it's like almost acknowledging, like, hey, we know what we're doing here.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. That is a fair point. Now, because you didn't have this on the... you didn't have Star Wars on the comic book list. I mean, the superhero list. You also didn't have it on the action list.
Yes.
And you have no mention of it anywhere. Spoiler alert for everybody.
Correct.
So I put it in the action one.
Okay, yeah.
And
I've thought about it, and I had The Force Awakens on there at one point.
Okay, I guess I didn't see that version.
No, right, yeah.
But I
had
have
a lot of playing around.
I have Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker as my number 2 action movie of the decade.
Yeah, that's surprising, but given how much you enjoyed it, actually, it's not.
The lightsaber battle is the best ever.
That was supposed to be longer, apparently, if you listen to Reddit rumors.
Yeah, I guess so. And then John Wick 3 is without question my number 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, though, anybody says John Wick 2, 1, 2, 3, whatever, it's fine. I get it. Like, you have it as 2, so whatever. But my honorable mentions, I have number 6, Force Awakens, number 7, Skyfall. I'm not a James Bond guy either, but that movie was dope.
Yeah. The current iteration with Daniel Craig has been pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of them. I gotta watch them all. World War Z came out in 2013. That one's very rewatchable too.
So it's safe to say you're a Brad Pitt fan over Leo DiCaprio.
I might Might be.
Okay.
I mean, I do like Fight Club a lot.
Yes.
And then I have the Planet of the Apes movies. We have Rise of, Dawn of, and War of. All came out in this past decade. I enjoyed those.
Those are well done, I think, for a remake of a movie that's been done over a couple of times. I feel like. So a couple that I left that just missed out. Sicario in 2015. Great kind of drug DEA cartel.
It's a good pick.
That opening scene when they have all the bodies in the house and the walls. It's amazing. 2017's You Were Never Really Here, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Again, very gripping, kind of Drive-esque, which I also have on here, which is my number 10. But at number 8, Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt in 2014. And then I know I've kind of shit all over the Western movies and that Western genre with The Mandalorian whenever we spoke about it recently. But that Western, Hell or High Water 2016 is a awesome movie. Again, a little bit of a crime heist sort of thing, but again, has that kind of Western feel to it.
Okay, you got one more. Sorry, I don't want to step on.
Oh no, and I mentioned Drive already too, right. which is on Netflix at number 10.
I like Drive. I remember seeing that with my dad and my brother, and they're like, "What is this? Like he doesn't talk the whole time."
He doesn't talk, which on rewatch is very frustrating. Like, just imagine being with him and then just give me a damn answer.
He did the same thing in Blade Runner 2049 too. It was very strange.
And there's an Asian movie that he's in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of like that as well, and it's like very gruesome.
He doesn't, but honestly, I feel like that's very difficult to do and be even remotely interesting. But Ryan Gosling knows how to do it.
He's good enough to look at, I guess.
If you need a guy to not talk and act, Ryan Gosling's your guy.
I think I could do that. That's a good gig.
Ooh, okay. We're putting okay, so Wes is officially open to any roles like Ryan Gosling's in Drive or Blade Runner 2049.
Right. Or I'd even do like a Crazy Stupid Love if you're going to make me look good.
Did he talk? I never saw that.
No, yeah, he did, but he was very cool.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. My DMs are open.
He's been cool all the time since, except for, Remember the Titans, right?
Right, not very cool then. He had a bit of a glow up.
Yes, he did.
Couldn't really cover that corner route,
Yoshi better play my kid. All right.
Tim, do you have anything you want to add on Best Action Movies?
Yeah, Tim, do you got anything that you want to share with us?
I know you perked up at Hell or High Water.
That was a great movie. I was also a really big fan, and it came out recently, of the remake of Death Wish.
Oh.
Very underappreciated. It was different enough from the original, but just Bruce Willis getting back to some badassery.
Nice, yeah, that's what we need in life, I think.
Always. You can never have enough badassery.
Right. I love that. Thank you very much.
Now we're on the most important segment of the show.
Yeah. No. Oh, I thought you were stretching out there, just getting ready for a second. No. Okay. So, best superhero movie of the decade. So this isn't, of course, Marvel.
Oh my God! I just saw his revised list.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be.
You left 2 out because I realized when we were talking that there was a second one that I left out, and I just inserted it in.
No.
I don't know how I forgot that one.
Yeah. Okay. So
you go first.
You want me to go with my top 5?
I think we should just do our top 10 for this one straight up. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. You go first.
Number 10. Do you want to go? Let's go tit for tat. How's that? We go 10, 10, right?
All right. Yeah.
My number 10, Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2017. Tom Holland on his own. Really love the resetting of the franchise.
My number 10, Wonder Woman, the best DC movie that we've seen so far. In the DC universe, there is one other one, but it's not really in the DC universe. Gal Gadot, stunning, awesome to look at, great action, and I get it. It's kind of basic, but at the same time, we haven't seen anything like that yet. It was very big for females and everything out there, and I just loved it too.
Sure. Okay.
Wait, you didn't. We know you didn't like it.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just gonna move on. Okay. Number 9, 2015's Ant-Man, because something I do love and I hold it near and dear to my heart is my affinity for Paul Rudd.
Well, I will say he has Evangeline Lilly in there too, and she is.
Yeah, yeah, she's okay too. But Paul Rudd, I would say it's Paul Rudd.
Of all the female superhero actresses, probably Evangeline Lilly is my the one I find most best looking.
It's been ScarJo for me. Yeah, that's a big ScarJo.
Totally fair. But Gal Gadot is right there. My number 9 is The Dark Knight Rises. Obviously, that was with Bane. I had to double check that Dark Knight did not come out this decade, but that was 2008.
Right, yeah.
And I know this one gets a little bit of heat, but I mean, I feel like that's time being abusive to this movie. I thought it was still. Look, it was still fun. It's still
you get Bane. Rough. It's not without its flaws. It's my number 8 movie.
A better Bane than what we grew up with all the Venom and crap. I like this Bane more, for being honest. So.
No, and I thought it was great, and I love. You speaking of actresses in superhero movies. Why can't I think of her? Anne Hathaway. Very appealing on the eyes in this movie.
She did. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's the best Catwoman ever, but she did it a lot better than I thought she was going to.
Well, it's not really a whole much up for grabs. Michelle Pfeiffer. I think she was the best.
Well, okay, she may be the best one.
Halle Berry.
She may be the best we've seen so far, but maybe not the interpretation that I was hoping for. I guess is what I was saying.
So I had my number 8. So your number 8.
Oh, my number 8 is Thor Ragnarok, which I mean, it's one of the fun. It's actually probably the second funniest MCU movie that we've gotten, and it was Thor like we've never seen him before, where he's human.
Right.
And that's been the problem with him the whole time, was he's just too perfect. He's too awesome. And now he's flawed, but then at the same time, he comes back to glory and greatness and everything. I mean, it's just in the opening
and he comes back stronger too. Like, I feel like I've rewatched the Avengers and caught that on TV recently, and some of his older stuff, but when he's kind of more mythic in his approach and with everything, how he his cadence and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. He just seems so much more stronger in these newer movies. Like, he's a more powerful hero.
Definitely.
It's just.
I know, I agree with you 100%. What is that? That brings us to
okay, so that
7?
was your number 8. So my number 7, Into the Spider-Verse, I made a quick a little adjustment in here because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. This makes my list twice.
Yeah, that was
rewatchability is pretty high on it for me.
Okay, this would be on my list too if okay, so I have to adjust things. Look, I'm not going to mention it on my list, everybody.
It's a tough one.
No, I thought we were just doing one at a time. I would have had it on my list. That would have made my list, but I thought because you have the animation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I thought we were doubling up.
Right.
All right. Anyways, it's fine. Go ahead. That's your one double up.
Yes.
But anyways, continue.
Well, no, that's pretty much it. I love the new look and the new take on Spider-Man and having all the different type of Spider-Mans in the universe show up. I thought they did that very well. Spider-Man for everybody, Peter B. Parker, that's me.
If I'm not doubling up on this list, that might be in my top 5. I freaking love that movie, and I'm not a Spider-Man guy, but I just thought it was so much fun, and it was just, you're telling a story that, well, one we haven't heard before necessarily, but you're telling it in a different way, and that's what blew me away most. We need more movies like this.
And from 10 to 50, that movie appeals to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So then that was your number 7.
So your 7.
So my 7 is Winter Soldier. I mean, this is one of the darker MCU movies we've seen. It's Winter Soldier it's Bucky Barnes at his absolute best.
Right.
I want that Bucky back, but he's just so, I mean, honestly, Wes, you've talked about him so much lately as doom, gloom, woe is me guy.
But that wasn't him to start.
He wasn't that.
Right.
I've been hanging on to that for so long, and it kills me. But you know what? You're right. There's nothing like this Bucky Barnes.
He's awesome.
Oh, so good. And I've been hanging on to it, waiting for it to happen, and we just never, ever get it. But this is when he was at his height.
It's a spy movie. You get a lot of Nick Fury. That Nick Fury scene where he's in the car. I love that whole scene when the Winter Soldier first makes his appearance.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You
music.
get a whole lot of ScarJo in this, where she's really actually, I feel like, trying a little bit more in these early films.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of cool too. So
the music though, whenever he would come on screen too, or when he's around, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it really freaks you out. And then he has that kind of like under mask.
That mask was awesome. I've been waiting for that to come back too, but I don't think we're ever going to see that.
No, because it's too evil. Okay, so that pops up a little bit later in our conversation. My number 6, Deadpool. You had mentioned Thor Ragnarok being the second funniest movie in the MCU. I dare to say that this is the first, even though it's not technically in the MCU.
Well, it's not. That's why
it's gonna get pushed into it.
Well, yeah, we heard that with Ryan Reynolds that it's gonna be Deadpool 3 is gonna be in the MCU. This is not. I mean, okay, if we're talking
the funniest Marvel movie, I would say
this is definitely the funniest Marvel movie, but it's not in the MCU, so I'm not. That wasn't my disclaimer.
Okay, maybe.
But this is my number 6 too. This is my number 6 too.
Okay.
I think it's hysterical. I enjoy the action. Deadpool is.
It was a new way to do a superhero movie.
Absolutely. Of all the ones I have on this list, I think this is my most rewatchable movie. As much as I have it at number 6. I'm trying to. It's a combination of me being objective on this list, but at the same time, like, the movies that I love too.
And it's all the one-liners that Ryan Reynolds has, because you laugh at one, you miss the second and third ones that kind of follow it immediately. So you pick something up every time you watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
My number 5, we're kind of in lockstep again on this, Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe this is the funniest movie in the MCU for you?
This is the funniest movie in the MCU.
I was just rewatching this recently. Very fun movie. I love coming back. You get to meet, one of the very few times where you have All 5, 6 characters are all really likable. There's no one that really kind of it's like, I don't want to see less of this. So
yeah, just right amount of each of them too.
Right, yeah. So I love that.
I think I'm looking forward to when we get to do that from one of our MCU watches. For those wondering, we've done the Hulk and we've done Iron Man. You can go back and listen to those anywhere on iTunes or Geeks Worldwide, anything like that. But yeah, this was a movie we came in with zero expectations. We're like, this is
right.
Like, really?
And I think this was coming off of Captain America Winter Soldier, same year. So I think Winter Soldier might have been released first and then maybe Guardians. So this was kind of really the first step into that cosmic realm that we, outside of Thor, really.
Yeah, it's honestly, with the cosmic realm, I feel like you're not going to generally, as much as people love science fiction, with Marvel and everything, you're known for the superheroes and the capes and everything. I feel like it's tougher to do well with that sort of science fiction away from Earth, but they found a way to do it perfectly. You got to do the comedy, and that's what and that shaped Thor so much, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so
number 4.
Number 4. You want to take your 4?
All right. Joker is my number 4. I feel like the top 4 here are ironclad. You can move them around a little bit, but I think Joker absolutely deserves to be in this conversation. Obviously, Joaquin Phoenix just won a Golden Globe for his performance, and I just think that this is the thing that makes this so special is, you said it when we reviewed it a little while back, you could have made this movie and it wouldn't have been and if you don't have Joker on it, it's still awesome.
If it was just Arthur Fleck.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you need the Joker title in order to get people, into the movie theaters now.
That wider net, cast a wider net there.
And
yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
My big issue is, when I look back as a decade in review and movies that I want to go back and watch when I think of past time, I'm not sure if this is it. For me. So I did really enjoy it, but it's not going to be something that I'm jumping at to go watch.
Gotcha. The part of the issue too with these is, like, you look what I try to do also is factor in, can you tell the story of entertainment in this decade without mentioning these movies? Like Dark Knight Rises, that's one where it's like you have to have one of the Bale Batman movies whenever you get the chance. So that's
right.
But anyways, what is your number 4?
So my number 4 is Captain America: Civil War. It was 2016, so it was this first. I don't want to say the first real matchup. It's like Avengers 2.5, but coming off of Age of Ultron, that was a little bit down, I think. Captain America: Civil War introduced 2 huge new characters that they ended up making huge spin-off independent movies out of, in Black Panther and Spider-Man. And this was really the first time that got really, I feel like we got really excited for this. Maybe Avengers, when the first Avengers came out, but I know my interest in the MCU overall really just got kicked into another gear, and looking at YouTube videos and what was going to happen and how the story was going to play out and what could happen and blah, 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 blah.
I didn't know this was that movie for you.
Yeah, that was it for me. So it really kind of kicked off my fanaticism.
I think that the X-Men movies, I mean, as much as they weren't done as well, I loved those at the beginning. But I really think that if the one that really kicked it up a notch was probably Winter Soldier, as much as I have that far down the list. I love that movie. That
turned me on to go back and kind of rewatch the original movies, and I think I saw that movie late. So I think it was kind of coming in to Civil War.
Gotcha. That's interesting. I did not know that was the movie that helped shape you.
Yeah.
Helped lead to this amazing show.
Oh, yeah. Now we're here, right?
Exactly.
So thank you.
My number 3 is Logan. And this was one of the most badass, violent, like Deadpool made this possible. Because if you didn't make a rated R movie with superheroes that could make money, we don't get violent Wolverine, which we all want.
I mean, that's something we've been clamoring for since the first X-Men in 2099, whatever that was.
Tim's probably wanted it since the 80s when he first read his first comic. I mean, this is the Wolverine we all expect. We like, as much as these movies are for kids, primarily adults still like this stuff. They're the ones paying for it, so they're seeing some of it. Give us some ridiculous, violent content too, and that's what this was, and I loved it.
I had it number 7 on my list, and I subbed it out for Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, you bumped it all the way out for all the others.
Because my thought process, again,
unbelievable.
A big deciding factor is that I just have a tough time going back and rewatching the movie. Which is such a big deciding factor for me.
I get that. That's tough. I mean, I get that. I can't understand it.
There's scenes that I go back and want to rewatch, or if it's like on cable or something like that, like I'll stick around for a commercial break or two.
Man,
but I'm just not watching it in its entirety.
Daphne Keane is so awesome.
She's great. I'm not saying anything that she's not.
What?
It's my top choice for a comic book movie of the decade because it takes comic books and turns it into a real movie. But I'll agree. There's some parts of it that it's like, okay, it kind of takes Professor X a little bit too long to die.
Yeah, see, I get that.
Okay.
But I don't have any problems with people who say that, say that this is the best movie of the comic book movie of the decade.
Okay,
I respect that. It's just, if this is my personal list, there's a couple more that I have higher on the list. Starting with my number 3, Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm. That is my number 2.
Yes. Obviously, we've talked about it on numerous occasions on this podcast, but everything that had built up through the last, 12 years or so, that kind of led to this point, 22 movies or whatever the case was. That was great. And I thought it mostly paid off, for the long wait.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. You have Endgame.
Yeah, number 3.
I'm sorry. I did not see that, and I just totally went on autopilot mode. That's my number 1.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just looking. I just totally misread that.
I know.
I'm looking at your list over again. Wow.
That's it.
Endgame is my number 1 with a bullet because it delivered. It had fan service. It fixed things the way it was supposed to. I get the time travel. It's a little bit confusing, but they did.
You're never going to get that perfect.
You're never going to get it perfect. There was comedy. We have awesome action scenes. Everybody's showing off their powers. And there was just a little bit for everybody in it. And I don't think I've ever, other than like jumping because I was scared by something, had a visible oh my god reaction.
Right.
Other than when we saw, have you seen Solo?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end, spoiler alert for everybody, when Darth Maul pops up, that, and then in Rise of Skywalker, spoiler alert, when I heard Qui-Gon's voice, I hit my dad because he loves Qui-Gon.
In that same Reddit post, Hayden Christensen, Qui-Gon, Samuel L. Jackson, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, instead of just voices, they were actually supposed to be Force ghosts, and it was supposed to be like the end of Harry Potter, where they all kind of form a circle around him in the Sith,
but
and
JJ
protect
said no?
him. No, apparently that was a Disney thing.
Disney wanted them.
Disney cut it out. Sorry.
Oh, they did.
Apparently. This is according to that Reddit user.
I mean,
Ego Shop, I think.
I would have liked. I like both. I mean, I would have probably preferred what they didn't end up.
Apparently, they filmed it and everything, and then they just nixed it.
Come on, man, that's not cool. But other than those, I've had moments. In Endgame, I had several moments where I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like freaking out, and it was just.
I hear you.
Oh, that was my number 1 with a bullet, Wes. I can't believe you don't have that as at least your 2. I get your 1. I get it.
So number 2 for me, and this is again, I think it's just very easy to put Infinity War, Endgame 1, 2. You're gonna have a lot of lists, and I don't have a problem with that at all. But when I think of these non-ensemble movies, what is like my favorite non-ensemble superhero movie? It's Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Okay, and that is totally fair.
It's a spy movie. It's very grounded. It's very tactile. I feel like
yeah.
It's not you're not out in space and dealing with powers and cosmic and all that stuff. So it's very grounded.
I generally like more
great villain too. One of the first times you actually get like a really good villain in this series.
He's the best. He's one of the best ones for sure.
Because Loki was pretty good.
I like Loki a lot,
and he was like a lot more sinister in Avengers than what we know him now to be.
Yes,
but. Winter Soldier was scary. You mentioned the music, that really added like a different effect to it.
Yeah, I didn't expect any of the characters to die necessarily, but I didn't feel like they were safe. Any of them even Nick Fury, we knew obviously, but I appreciate you putting a non-ensemble one so high. I do. Honestly, I generally prefer those more. I'm not big on the whole event thing. I like the story and the in-between kind of things. So, and that's why I like Logan so much and obviously Joker. But I'm not going to say my number 2 because it's your number 1. I don't want to steal your thunder.
No. We can just kind of talk back and forth about it. So
Avengers Infinity War.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
I think if you're not going to have Endgame as your 1, then this should be your 1. I understand Logan, but I really think these 2 were both outstanding, both difficult to do well. And with Infinity War, it set the dialogue for a year. That's all anybody cared about was what's coming up after. Actually, it was before that came out. That controlled the dialogue, and then
the clock hit reset, and everyone you got like the 24 clock going. Like,
yes,
tick, tick.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And that is so impressive to be able to do something like that on its own. Forget all the fun stuff that we got, the action and Thor coming in to Wakanda, beaming in and bring me Thanos.
Oh yeah.
That was outstanding too.
No, and it's great too. And I think I've never been more. My anticipation has never been higher for a movie than that, and that includes Endgame. I think coming into everything built up to that, and I think if we had never gotten Endgame, I would have been satisfied with Infinity War.
Right. Yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
would have been, if there was nothing on the back end.
Yeah, it would have sucked if we didn't get anything else. But I mean, it was
obviously,
it would have. It was still If we never got anything else, I would have wondered why they didn't do it, because like you can definitely make a great story. But yeah,
right.
No, I think
I would have been happy with that story actually.
I would have been. You know what? It would have emitted emotion for sure. I don't know if I would have been happy though.
Right. Well, then the stakes are really high. Then no one comes back or whatever. Then you're truly reset, and then I think that's interesting.
That definitely would have been interesting. I shudder that I did. Now that
could be an episode right there. No, we're just spitballing. What if Avengers Endgame was never made?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I'm just talking here, but yeah, we can talk later about that.
All right, that brings us to best animated movie of the decade.
Yes, we'll do a top 5 on this one.
Sounds like a plan to me. All right, now you're not gonna know 4/5 of my list on this one.
I know some of them.
So first we have Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. These first 3 actually came out in 2018. Death of Superman in 2018, and then Batman: Gotham by Gaslight. So I got the chance to watch all these in the past couple years, and honestly, DC's animated stuff just really makes me wonder.
Yeah. They do it really well.
What the hell are they doing with the live stuff? Because that Suicide Squad, like 5 characters that are kind of important, die. And then you have, Death of Superman. We saw Death of Superman, spoiler alert, in Batman vs. Superman. I enjoyed the movie, but it could have been done a lot better. That was kick-ass. Right. And then the Gotham by Gaslight, I understand why they haven't made that as a live action, but that was really cool too. And then Batman Under the Red Hood came out in 2010, just makes a cut. That's my guy. That's my favorite one for sure, but I can't, I'm being objective here. Number 1 with a bullet, and again, would have had this on my list if we weren't doing the little disclaimers or whatever. Into the Spider-Verse, without question, the best animated movie.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Spoiler alert, that's my number 1 as well, but my number 5, Incredibles 2. I just saw that recently since it came out on Netflix. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Elastigirl is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. My wife and I commented on that.
Oh, your wife feels that way too?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We were in lockstep on that one. Number 4, Coco. A nice Hispanic little journey.
The only reason I hate Coco, I haven't seen it, is because it won, was it Best Original Song over This Is the Greatest Show. That annoyed me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can get that. Number 3, Wreck-It Ralph.
Greatest Showman. Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Greatest Showman. Now I got you. Yeah.
Yes.
Wreck-It Ralph was fun. Yeah, fun little story. Again, a little bit of a, I would say an original idea. It's not based off of anything. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
At number 2, Toy Story 3. Again, another movie that I just recently saw.
Nice. Oh,
got a little teared up into it. Yeah, I went into the vault on Disney Plus. That was one of the first things on Disney Plus I watched.
Had you not seen it already?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I haven't seen 4 yet.
That's usually what seeing it for the first time means.
Well, I had to make sure my ears weren't playing tricks on me because I had a hard time believing that.
I kid.
I know you kid. I had a hard time believing you though that you haven't seen. I'm surprised.
No, I know.
But
I haven't seen Toy Story 4 either. So
coming from the guy who hasn't seen Inception yet.
Well, yeah, there we go. That's just true. And Into the Spider-Verse number 1, just missing the list. Zootopia, Lego Party, Sausage Party.
I've heard
Lego Movie Sausage Party.
Despicable Me and Frozen were on my honorable mentions.
Oh, nice.
TV show of the decade. Why don't you start this one to the top 5?
Yeah, top 5, Workaholics, again, came out at a very formative time in my college year. We were kind of in that exact point of not exactly in college, but not exactly in the real world yet. So I really enjoyed that. Love Durs, love Blake, love Adam Devine, Andy Bovine. Big fan of his. And Montez. Montez is a great side character. You also get Jillian in there, who's a great side character as well.
Yeah, Jillian. I haven't watched a ton of it, but Jillian, I figure, is a...
Yeah, she's really funny. Great show. The Leftovers. That's a David Lindelof show. Starring, what's his name? Why am I going to blank on it?
I know you love
Carrie Coon and Justin Theroux. Thank you. Very thought-provoking, something I have to kind of read about after. We read a breakdown of the episode afterwards, but I enjoyed it. Broad City, love this show. Great. I thought it was living in New York. They took place in Astoria. I lived in Astoria at the time, but again, very funny. Got a little too political at the end for me, but I liked it overall. Number 2, True Detective, largely based off the first season with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, but the third season with Mahershala Ali and Stephen Dorff was really good as well. And as if I even need to say it, Game of Thrones, prestige television at its finest.
So number 5.
Final episodes be damned.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. Number 5, I have Arrow. And There were some dull times in this, but at the first few seasons, man, that show was freaking awesome. And it was like, why can't DC do this with their movies? You know, all you have is Batman, and you can't do anything else right. Workaholics. I've only watched that so much, but every time I watched it, hysterical. And all my buddies in college loved it. So I could not leave this off the list. The Walking Dead. That started out as the dominant force of the decade. It was that. It was Game of Thrones. They were there neck and neck.
Breaking Bad, like all at the same time.
Yeah, Breaking Bad. And Breaking Bad can't be on this list because it didn't start this decade. Parks and Rec didn't start this decade. I haven't watched Veep, The Americans.
I've heard good things about Veep, though.
Tim, you like Justified, right?
Justified was the last decade, though, wasn't it?
And I think it started in 2010. And then Rick and Morty, I haven't watched.
Right, I haven't either. I've heard good things, too.
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I never watched that show, but that's kind of up there.
Oh, you should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
I will say this, too, about The Walking Dead, is it's gone down in popularity. I like it better.
Do you really?
I think the last couple seasons have been the best.
I think
a hot take.
I think the Glenn Okie Doke really threw a lot of people off. But did you watch it?
Never.
Ever? Really?
Never. No, never got into it.
Man, at the beginning, those first few seasons, everybody was in. I'm still in. Actually, I'm a little behind on watching it right now, but I'm still watching it.
A great show too, by the way. That's been a dark horse over just the last couple years. Yellowstone.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Not only is it great to watch, but it's actually done really well in the ratings too. Which
I did not know that.
I'll have to keep that on the
what's
list.
that on?
It's a little soap opera-y, but it's really good. It's on the Paramount Network. Formerly Spike TV.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then I have the same 2-1 as you, True Detective. Thrones, man. Thrones just dominated the decade.
It couldn't, right?
Oh.
And it went and spanned, 2011 to 2019, so it was one of the few shows that actually lived through the entirety of the decade. It didn't have like a hangover one way or the other.
So freaking good.
A couple that just missed the cut for me. Barry, new show that I love.
Right.
2 seasons, but I love that. So I thought he got snubbed, by the way, for the best comedic Golden Globe. Rami Youssef from Rami, I think, won.
By the way, you know that his girlfriend or whatever is Hayden Christensen's ex-wife?
Oh, is it? Is that Rachel Bilson?
Yeah,
from the OC.
I didn't know that. When you brought him up,
that was apparently like everyone's outing party. Everyone found out about it.
Not enough good things can happen to Bill Hader, as far as I'm concerned.
Big fan.
Look at you.
Great guy. Seems like he's a really, like he's really the person that he pretends to be.
Right.
That he portrays himself as.
Yeah.
So not enough good things can happen to him.
Absolutely. Silicon Valley at number 7, a show that kind of waned in its final few years, but came out really strong.
Disappointing ending.
Yeah, I haven't seen the final season yet, so I'll have to get up to that. Number 6, Boardwalk Empire. I talk about prestige TV in the early 2010s. I really loved the story of Nucky Thompson.
As I made this list, because it was easier to do our next segment, the streaming only content.
Yeah.
I realized, man, there were not a lot of TV shows that started in this decade that I loved.
I know. Well, I was late to The Office and to Parks and Rec, so the last few years, like I've been going heavy on that, and then I realized that I haven't really watched a whole lot of good TV that came out this decade.
Yeah, because all the best stuff came out, I feel like, in streaming service. Mandalorian just missed my top 5. It's at number 6. Peaky Blinders, number 5, and that is freaking amazing. Number 5. If you haven't watched it, you got to watch it with subtitles. I know that may seem annoying, but I promise you, it is worth it. It's just so you can glance for like one word at a time.
Okay.
Every sentence, I should say. Last Kingdom, another one. Oh, awesome. The Punisher, number 3. Daredevil, number 2. And then Stranger Things. I cannot believe it took me so long to watch it, and I watched that so fast.
Yeah.
So good.
You soaked it right up.
Yes, outstanding.
My number 5 is BoJack Horseman. Bit of a depressing show, but a great animated show. Love Will Arnett as a voiceover actor. This is fairly new. No, I'm gonna switch this up a little bit. I'm gonna sub out my 6 underground pick for number 4, which is a new Ryan Reynolds, Michael Bay action movie, for Big Mouth, which I had at number 8, I believe. So Big Mouth. Nick Kroll is getting the bump up there. Again, another animated show.
You did like that one a
Very
lot,
funny.
yeah.
It spans all ages, preteens to adults and parents. So I think that's a great show. Number 3, Firefest, the Netflix documentary about Firefest and Billy McFarland. Fantastic, gripping. Few hours. I believe it's a couple hours of TV there. Number 2. Something I just watched recently.
Yeah, I was surprised that was
has been sweeping the nation. If you've heard about it recently, but Don't F with Cats. Yeah. If you have not seen that yet, I highly recommend it. Add that to the queue, and then my number 1 is the same as Nick's, Stranger Things.
What's interesting is that I feel your list. Well, you have a lot of shows too. I feel like, but you got a decent chunk of movies too. I didn't have many movies when it came to this because I had Harley Quinn animated show.
Oh, right, yeah.
Things. Best comics of the decade, real quick. I will do from number 5 to 1. And I have Deathstroke, the Rebirth DC Universe. That's all Chris Priest, 50 issues. Awesome from start to finish. Flashpoint. This was early in the decade. This was really big on resetting the DC Universe. Oh, and then
I even know about that.
Exactly. And they made an animated movie about that. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's good. John Constantine, Hellblazer, City of Demons. There were times where John Constantine got a little bit too kid friendly, and he's not supposed to be.
Well, sure.
This is like that, like young adult. But it's like perfect.
Okay.
So I think it still works really well. It is my favorite John Constantine story, period. It won't be on most people's list, definitely on mine. Saga, everybody's going to have that up there on their list. And I've read the first trade of it, and it's really good. And then Batman, White Knight. Oh, I mean, that's Joker is a good guy, and it's totally.
I remember you telling me.
Throws a wrench in Batman stuff. So awesome. Awesome one. Couple other superlatives that you wanted to touch on real quick?
Yeah, well, I thought we could have a little bit of a discussion here, and then, Tim, if you'd like to jump in on this. Actors and actresses of the decade.
Okay. You got a good list.
So a couple of people that I put forth for actor, The Rock, who's been just about everything. You know, I think he's the top of the Forbes list for money, and it's just about everywhere you turn.
I think that's the guy.
Leonardo DiCaprio, who's starred in some very top-notch movies. Did Shutter Island come after Inception?
Yeah. No. Shutter Island was before Inception.
Okay.
I'm checking it right now.
Because you could have you have Inception, you have The Wolf of Wall Street, you have The Revenant, The Aviator, right, or some
Shutter
of those
Island's
other movies in there, right? So, a lot of good stuff for him. Obviously, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought that was I thought Samuel L. Jackson would be a good choice. You put down Chris Pratt in here.
Oh yeah, big decade for him. Oh sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you have and you have J-Law on there. She
Jennifer Lawrence, Scarlett Johansson, the Kardashians.
Yeah, I guess
but they've dominated. I know it's not an actress per se.
I didn't realize Inception and
one of the sisters acted in something.
Yeah. Inception and Shutter Island both came out in 2010. I didn't realize that.
Okay, yeah. Big decade for Leo.
I would say
got his Oscar.
And so Leo, look, if I didn't have the bias against Leo, then maybe. But The Rock has just been nonstop. He's taking over Fast and Furious and everything. I think I give it to him. And I think I actually give it to J-Law, too, because she had Hunger Games this decade, too, right? And I think that was, I mean, we talk about the MCU and everything, but that was in itself this craze. So I think, and then she had, what's the movie with Bradley Cooper?
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, that was another one, too.
So here's what I'll tell you. And obviously this is slanted towards the MCU. So that link that I posted at the bottom there, the list of the highest grossing stars of the 2010s.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess of who number one is?
I saw who number one was, yeah.
Tim, do you want to take a guess of who the highest grossing star of the 2010s have been?
I would think The Rock.
Nope. I would think The Rock, too, but it's not.
That would have been my guess. It's Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I would think it would be somebody from the MCU movies. Just
$3,793,000,000.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say she's been as big as...
How much her movies have grossed? Not obviously how much she's pulled in.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Number 2 is Robert Downey Jr. Number 3 is Samuel L. Jackson. Number 4 is Chris Pratt. You're seeing a theme here. Bradley Cooper, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans. Number 8, Woody Harrelson.
That's crazy.
Good for Woody.
Yeah,
huh?
Good for Woody. I was surprised when I saw that.
I'm wondering what the...
Right. Was Zombieland that good?
I mean, I think...
True Detective?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Jennifer Lawrence comes in at number 9, Chadwick Boseman at 10, Daisy Ridley 11, Mark Hamill at 12, Tom Hardy 13, Harrison Ford 14, Mahershala Ali 15, James McAvoy at 16. So, interesting list.
I know who the actor will be to watch in the next decade.
Oh, I like that.
I honestly think John David Washington is going to be the next big star.
Because he's starring in that new Christopher Nolan film, Tenet.
Tenet, yeah. I think it's Tenet. Yeah.
Which looks very Inception-like, very weird. Yeah. Don't really know what's going on. The whole thing.
It does look weird. Yeah.
You don't like that very much.
No. It does look weird. I just remembered it. I hadn't heard of him.
Just like I will watch any movie Denzel Washington is in, I'll watch anything his son is in.
Yeah, absolutely. Who won the decade?
I would have to say.
So a couple choices: Netflix, Kevin Feige, Joe Rogan, Bob Iger.
I would probably say Feige.
But Bob Iger is the owner of Disney.
I know, but Feige's just...
He ate up all his competition.
Iger did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. But I think Feige as someone who wants to be creative and everything and see all of that thrive and someone who cares about all that stuff, I think that he couldn't be more satisfied with the decade he just churned out. And if he died tomorrow, it's like, I might have wanted to do this, that, whatever. It's like, I did so much.
Yeah.
I changed the landscape. He changed the landscape of theater.
I agree.
Cinema, whatever.
Well, and I think that the case that could be made for Joe Rogan is obviously the explosion of podcasts over this last decade and particularly these last 5 years. You ever look on the top episode charts on iTunes?
It's him, right?
He has like 6 in the top 50 regularly.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. And he does these does it 3 times a week. Like,
are they funny? Is that what it is?
It's funny. It's interesting. It's
I've never
weird.
listened to
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the guests that he gets. But it's amazing how much of a listenership that he has that he does for like 2 or 3 episodes, 2 or 3 hours at 3 episodes a week.
What's his background? A comedian?
So he's a comedian. He was on Fear Factor. He's big into MMA and like alternative forms of lifestyle.
Gotcha.
His first big role that I remember him from was he was one of the guys that took over the Man Show.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. With
And
Doug
then
Stanhope.
Totally killed it.
Yeah.
Turned it into garbage.
Exactly. So
you go.
I thought as something as podcasts have kind of risen as a new form of media.
Yeah.
He's at the forefront of it.
That's fair.
But I think my choice is Netflix. Again, something that was really blown up on streaming services. You never really thought of that Netflix could transform itself from a mail order DVD subscription based service to what it is now.
You're right about
and
that.
kind of redefining how we view consume media.
That's true, but they're really looking like they could be the losers of the next decade too.
Oh yeah, they could lose the next decade, but this one was theirs.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing it this year, it looked so much like they were going to lose, and I know they haven't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Finding the way to get those prestige movies on their service instead of in theaters. That's a huge step.
One thing I was listening to something the other day, and one thing that will help them is if there are good indie like comics out there or books that these other companies aren't picking up, Netflix can get them.
Right.
That's one thing that will help them out a lot because they're going to lose. They're not going to have all the other superhero stuff, which is important. So if they can capitalize on it elsewhere, like they have with Witcher, actually I haven't looked at Witcher's numbers, but I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Right. Absolutely. And okay. Last quick here. Last thing as we wrap up.
Yes.
Who lost the decade?
I was looking at that. It's
a tough list. So we have Michael Jackson, who died and was all but confirmed to be a diddler.
Right.
Bill Cosby, who was outed as a pill-giving rapist, is currently in jail.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder, who ruined the DCU before it could even get off the ground.
I'm sure the Snyder fans are going to love that one.
Or internet trolls. I feel like it was a big decade for internet trolls, and I think an argument could be made that they probably won the decade.
But who lost the decade?
Well, I think internet trolls. Yeah, if you're an internet troll, is that a good thing?
No, it's not a good thing. No, I'm gonna go with Bill Cosby on this one.
Bill Cosby took a bit. He was like America's dad.
Yeah, I mean,
how many honorary degrees does that guy have?
Everybody was already like kind of questioning Michael Jackson, and
right. This one kind of came out hard. I had Harvey Weinstein on there, but no one really knew who he was.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know who he was at all either. But I think Bill's
That's not true. Everybody knew who he was.
Yeah, but he's not as much of a
not like these two
in front of the camera figure like Bill Cosby.
I mean, he was kind of seen as the guy.
Bill Cosby was in our homes.
Yeah. He was seen as the guy that would give anybody a chance.
Right, because that was Ben and Matt Damon, right?
Yep, and Quentin Tarantino, and so he had a huge influence on cinema from maybe 1990 on. So it was kind of a big, but then again, you have to look at it too. Like when you found out that he was a perv, were you surprised?
No, he looks like a perv.
You're more surprised to find out Bill Cosby was
right.
a sexual predator.
It's a hit. It's like a tough one because
they're all losers. R. Kelly, the surviving R. Kelly stuff.
But we knew R. Kelly was a weirdo. Since
he was
the
a
90s.
pisser. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why I say Michael Jackson's not the biggest loser. Obviously, it didn't go well for him.
Right. Zack Snyder, you kind of ruined a sacred fan base,
DC's, man. The books are better at DC. The animated stuff is better with DC. And
it just doesn't translate to the live action.
They have a good plan with the streaming service. I don't think they're taking full advantage of it, but like the comics, if you like that, there's so much there. They have Batman Beyond on there, Wes. I mean, which you like that. They have the animated series, so it's just it's whatever. But did you want to do your quick on my mind?
Yeah, it was a good year. You know,
Okay.
that's I think a good decade. I think that's what's on my mind first and foremost. You know? It was a good decade for us.
I think that's fair. The two quick things that I wanted to mention was Undiscovered Country is a Scott Snyder book. It's with Image Comics. I read the first 2 issues. I think it's friggin' awesome, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat as me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something new to read, I highly recommend that. And then the other thing was a new Mutants trailer came out. My one question to you is, are we going to be able to review that?
We're gonna have to.
Okay, you're going to power through that movie.
I'll do it. I'll peek through my eyes, you know, the whole time.
What else has been on your mind?
So a couple things that are on Netflix that I would recommend. Inception, as we already mentioned. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, the original one.
Oh.
Great movie. Dinner for Schmucks. Gotta be careful how I say that there.
That's such an awkward movie.
It's cringeworthy, but kind of funny. Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Oh, okay.
Very fun. Kingpin, which when I tweeted about when you feel betrayed by your Netflix for not knowing you and the algorithm, like I had to go like scouring through Netflix to go find that.
That's why.
And I was like, that's me. Like that movie is me right there. I love that
you.
movie.
Yeah.
Scary Movie, the original one, pretty good. And then both of the OG TMNT movies.
There were 3.
Oh, the first 2 then.
The first 2, so not the one where they go to Japan.
No.
I actually like Turtles in Time.
People
don't like that one, but I like it.
I saw that one as a kid, like really, like that was the one I saw. Yeah, and I liked it. I saw the first one recently. I don't think I've seen the second one ever.
Something about the ooze.
Oh,
Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze, yeah.
With the Vanilla Ice cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Go Ninja, go.
Yeah.
What a decade though, Wes.
Yeah, it was.
And most importantly, in the last year of it, we started to change my mind.
Yeah, we're almost 50 episodes in.
We're almost at. We got to have the anniversary episode coming up soon, right?
Oh yeah, well I'll have to look back on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something special for that. I think
so.
TBD for next week.
I love it.
Okay, for your favorite kind of episode.
Yes.